Kate, it is so great to see you. We are so excited about your big return. But first
Thank
of all, happy birthday. How are you
thank
celebrating?
you.
Will you be celebrating with a big viewing party?
Well, no, because I'm in hotel quarantine in Australia. So I will be watching, but not with a big group of people. Just digitally with a group on the internet. My friends, my good friends.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
You are so gorgeous. You're
Oh, so are you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, but you are ageless, basically. So can you
Yeah, that makes me feel good, especially having just had another birthday. You're like, woohoo.
Well, I mean, you look the same as when you first broke out on Grays. So can you tell us some of your top beauty tips?
Oh, well, I will say that it was actually shortly after I started Grey's Anatomy, what, and back in those days, before, there were, cars and when people were etching in stones to write. No, you're a struggling actor. You're not really thinking about skincare or anything like that. But I remember shortly after Grey's became kind of a big hit and I was at Sundance for something. And there was like Kate Somerville was there. I'm gonna give him a shout out. But I remember that was when I first was like aware of like, oh, you can have a whole skincare protocol and regime. And so that's when I started taking good care of my skin and doing a lot of laser treatments and hydration and a whole system. I don't like getting things too complicated, even though I kind of have a mini drugstore like in my bathroom of tinctures, salves, ointments. But yeah, but I drink a lot of water. I get teased a lot because of my giant water bottle. Hydration is important, critical. Sleep is critical. Yeah, I don't know. And being happy.
Great. It's simple, but I love that. Okay, so you're big.
I got a beauty light here. I finally got hip to that after, a year and a half of quarantine and a global pandemic. You're like, oh, lighting. So that's helpful.
Okay, great. And seems like such a long wait for you to come back to Grays. You're finally coming back. We kind of talked about it with you before about the prospect of coming back, but now you're back. What was that moment like when you were back on set?
It was very emotional. I wish I could be more articulate than that, but it was I literally it was hard to not stop crying. It was very emotional to see everyone again and to be back. It was like a dream, like going back in time to this set that I've known and like in our, my base camp AD, a lot of the crew are so incredible. And a lot of them are the same crew that have been there since day one. So to see familiar faces and it's beyond like going home. It's like going back to your small town, like your hometown and family and friends and coworkers and all of the history. And it was pretty trippy. Yeah.
And how did the return come about and why did you decide that this was the right time to go back?
Well, Krista and I had been chatting, and Krista Vernoff, who runs the show now, she and I have been chatting for a long time various times about coming back and what would make sense storyline wise, or what would make sense scheduling wise for me. For the longest time for me after private practice, it was really important for me to go and play other roles because I'd played Addison for the better part of a decade between Grays and private practice, gratefully so. But I was really like, okay, I wanted like a kid in a candy shop. I wanted to go and do all the other stuff. And then, over the years, it's, and I feel very lucky and I still get to do a lot of great stuff and I'm about to do a play here, but all the fans were always asking in every single interview, or like, when would you ever come back to Grays? So I was like, you know what, it's been long enough now. I've got to go and play and do all sorts of other fun things. And yeah, let's see. And she kind of pitched me this great storyline. And so there it is. Here we are in season 18.
And it's so funny because season 1, you came in with you must be the woman screwing my husband, that iconic.
Right.
And now in your return, you say, you must be the group screwing up the program. So tell us, what was that like recreating your iconic line, but with a twist?
There was a lot of pressure, honestly, to kind of get it right and not be too hitting it on the, hitting it too hard and not feeling like so the tone of it was like tricky, but I did have the great Chandra Wilson, who plays Bailey on the show and also directs a lot of the episodes now, directing me. And so I think that's the thing as an actor, you just, ultimately you have to really trust the director. And she was great, but I did get very insecure about it because it's such an iconic line. I mean, that line when I used to joke that 30 seconds on Grey's when Addison's entrance was, I got more attention for that than anything I had done previously in my entire career. So yeah, there's a lot of pressure to sort of, yeah.
Well, based on the fans' reaction, you did an excellent job, and just
Thank
watch
you.
little teaser, it definitely makes me want to watch. So Ellen Pompeo said, because you had mentioned that there were tears, and she also said that there may have been tears between you guys. What was it like working with her again? I know we touched on this a little bit, but tell us a little bit about, your relationship and how you've stayed friends this long.
Well, it was very moving and very moving and emotional to come back and work with her and see her. I hadn't seen her in years in person, because I've moved away. I'd lived in New York and now I'm living abroad. And so to actually just set eyes on her. And I remember the first day we saw each other at the COVID testing area. And I was like, and we hugged and took a picture, and it's just, it's hard to explain. It's like seeing a long lost family member. And and so much time has passed. So it was a lot, and it was a real joy to catch up with her and to work with her, because we got some good stuff on the episode together. I'm excited for fans to see. I'm excited to hear what people think. I'm really thrilled with that episode. So I'm excited for people to see it.
And what can you tell us about the relationship between Addison and Meredith?
Well, I think what I can tell you is that there's always been a great deal of respect, I think, between the two. Even whatever personal issues that they've had, I think there's a great deal of respect professionally for what their, respective careers are and what they're able to do as doctors. And I think, you see from the teaser that the one teaser when Addison's in surgery and Richard comes in and says they got to shut down, close it up because there's a power issue in the hospital, that you see Addison say, "Get me Meredith Grey." So you do get to, I can tell you do get to see them working together a little bit. And then you get to see them personally get into some really good stuff. And I can't tell you what, but it's good and juicy. And I think that the fans will be surprised and very satisfied.
Great. I love that. So there have been a lot of cast returns lately, and now you. What do you think about all of the comebacks overall?
I think it's beautiful. I think that it's a testament to the writing, to the experience that everybody had working on Grey's, to the great love and respect that people have for Shonda, for the characters that they played, what it meant in their lives and their careers. It's not every day, particularly in this culture, where I don't, when has there ever been a show that's gone 18 seasons? I don't know. Did ER go that long? I don't think so. I don't know. But I do feel like that's just an anomaly. Like, it just doesn't happen anymore. We're in a completely different culture where you have streamers and even things that are amazing. Nothing's going to go this long. And so it's the last vestige of a different iconic era, and there's a real romance to that and a lot of emotion to that. Grace has been there for actors, for fans, for everyone that's worked on the show, writers and creators and crew members. So it's a very respected show, and program and just part of people's history.
Very well said. There's been a lot of talk lately about the climate on set back in the day at Gray's. How would you say, in your opinion, how things are different now?
I wouldn't say, I think it's impossible to comment on that. I think that everybody has their own experience. I had an incredible experience on Grey's. I felt very grateful for every bit of it, both professionally, creatively, and career-wise. Everything that transpired there for me um, made me who I am, was part of what made me, helped make me who I am today. And the skills that I learned being able to play this character every day for between Grey's and private practice for almost a decade made me a better actor and a better person. So that's my experience. And yeah, it's been an incredible ride. It's fun to go back.